Hello everyone, good evening. We the students at Symbiosis welcome you to this interactive webinar where we'll be helping you out by answering all your questions and doubts regarding SNAP and the MBA program at Symbiosis. Before we get started with the session, we'll just briefly introduce ourselves. So my name is Shreyoshi Nandi. I have done my undergraduation in architecture from Sir J.J. College of Architecture, after which I worked for 1 year as an architect, and currently I'm doing my MBA at Symbiosis.
Hello dear aspirants, my name is Neeraj Metkar. I pursued my mechanical engineering from Pune University and now doing my MBA at Symbiosis.
I'm Aranya Bhalla. I've done my bachelor's in computer science from PES Bangalore, and I've also worked with a bank in software for a year, and now I'm currently at Symbiosis pursuing an MBA.
Hello aspirants, my name is Himanshu Jain and I come from Chandigarh and I've done my BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Punjab University, Chandigarh.
Before we get started with the session, I'll just briefly take you through the structure of the webinar. We'll first discuss about the SNAP test structure, and then the preparation tips, overall preparation tips. And after that, we'll deep dive into the section-wise strategies, and finally, we'll be talking about the D-Day strategies. Talking about the SNAP test structure, as you might know, SNAP is conducted over 3 days. So the dates for this year are 8th December, 15th December, and 21st December. There are 3 sections: General English, which consists of 15 questions; Analytical and Logical Reasoning, which consists of 25; and Quantitative Data Interpretation and Data Sufficiency, which consists of 20 questions. The duration of the test is 1 hour, so you have to solve 60 questions in 60 minutes. And as far as the marking scheme is concerned, you get 1 marks for every correct answer, and there's a negative marking of 0.25 for every wrong answer. Talking about the test type, so SNAP is a bit different from other management entrance exams. It's there is no sectional cutoff, which I feel is a very big bonus, because you can actually aim for your stronger sections and do really well in those, and aim for a high score. And the questions are objective type.
As you know, there are 3 major sections for SNAP. So first one is General English, second one is Analytical and Logical Reasoning, third one is Quantitative Aptitude, Data Interpretation, and Data Sufficiency. So there are a lot of topics to be covered for each of the section. So first we'll start with General English. So this is not an exhaustive list, but it will give you a sufficient idea of what kind of preparation you need to do, what kind of topics you need to cover up. So for General English, there are parajumbles, fill in the blanks, passages, verbal ability, synonyms, analogies, one-word substitution. For Analytical and Logical Reasoning, there are column graphs, pie chart, puzzles, arrangement, critical reasoning, and directions. Whereas for Quantitative Aptitude, DI and DS, there are geometry, simple algebra, arithmetic, probability, ratio and proportion, percentages, and partnerships.
So now I'll drive you to the overall preparation tips. So for the, since it's not a one-day exam, one-day journey, it's a long journey, so you need to prepare yourself accordingly. You can divide your day into different sections for studying, and you can keep your weekends for the revisions and weekly reviews. And if we talk about the different sections, you can, in the General English, you can go for building your vocabulary and using these vocabularies in the sentences so that you memorize them it better. And apart from that, you can refer to shadow readings and grammar workshops. And if I talk about Analytical and Logical Reasoning, you can relate it with your daily life. You can go for pattern recognition trainings, logic games, etc. And for the Quantitative Aptitude, you can go for practicing maths daily, practicing maths in the Mindology, going for error analysis, etc. And since mocks play a very important role, you can refer to going for mocks, and weekly mocks would be a better choice, since mocks give you the exam conditions and gives you where are you standing right now. And time-based practice sessions can be a very important aspect, since it's a 60-minute exam. Then you can focus on your weak links. You can practice and make your weaknesses your strengths. And if I talk about the networking and collaboration, you can make study groups. You can form groups in your colleges, etc. And you can prepare in your groups, so it could be better. And for stress management, use the limit your screen times and visualize your success.
I think SNAP as such is a time management test, right? So you have to strategize accordingly and allocate time accordingly. When you have general English, about 5 to 10 minutes should suffice. In terms of quantitative aptitude, about 25 to 30 minutes, and analytics about 20 to 25 minutes. So in terms of allocation, I would say each question in English would take lesser time in comparison to quant, which would take more time because of calculations. So you follow a generic 60-30-10 strategy, where you have 60 easy questions, 30 moderate, and 10 harder, and then revisit depending on what you think you can solve. First pass should be about 40 to 50 seconds per question. The second pass about 90 minutes a section. A question should suffice, and about 2 minutes should be your rule breaking. So after 2 minutes, you don't go to that question, you move on to the next one. So have a barrier so you don't fall into a death corner as such. Practice mini mocks. I think that is something that really helps. Maybe 30 minutes every day to solve mini mocks with about 30 questions in 30 minutes. Don't waste time. So be quick when you're reading and make approximations if you can. Keep track of the time every 15 minutes. If you don't know a question, mark it for review, move to the next one. Don't spend too much time, especially in, say, English. You don't need more time to realize whether you know it or you don't know it. And smart breaks. So about 10 to 15 seconds of micro breaks should be fine.
For pressure handling, you can always refer to time management, since time management will help you gain confidence and will also help you excel in the exam. And apart from that, I would suggest you to skip the tough questions. Don't go for doing the tough questions in exam, since tough questions are very limited and less in number. You can skip those and later on revisit when you have time. Then you can focus on your strengths, build upon that, and use these strengths to maximize your score. Then I would suggest you to simulate the exam conditions. These exam conditions will help you to familiarize with the environment and the exam. And I would suggest don't rush. It's a long journey. Don't rush it. Don't try to do it in a day. And apart from that, stay calm. Stay hydrated. Have a positive mindset. Don't overthink and have a healthy lifestyle.
So why mock tests are important? First, you need to realize, why does one get stressed out during these situations? Whenever one's trying to attempt certain kind of examinations, we get anxious, we get various kinds of stress release, and this will impact your performance. So to cope up with that, one need to give lot of mock tests. So mock tests represent a simulative environment. So it will help you in becoming familiar with different kinds of aspects of that examination. So on the D-Day, you will be very calm and relaxed, and you will be in the natural environment. Whereas they also provide a good time management strategy. So having good time management strategy will help you in giving mocks. We help you in giving exam in a better way than other candidates. It will help you identify your stronger sections, your weaker sections, and once you do a lot of analysis in these mocks, you will realize that the stronger section needs to be attempted first, and then you can work upon your weaker sections to maximize your scores. Then it will help you boost speed and accuracy. As you become familiar with different kinds of concepts, you will solve questions at a fast pace than what you used to solve earlier. And with this, you will be more accurate. It will help you build confidence, release your anxiety, and improve focus. Having a strong concentration during this 60-minute period is very crucial. Once you are able to put your 100% of the concentration into all these areas, you will ace the examination surely. And it will help you adapt to the pressure. So don't give in to the pressure on the D-Day. Give in to the pressure on the mock day and be calm.
I think moving to the sectionals, the first one I'll talk about is reading comprehension, work listening, and vocabulary, or general English. So this is the shortest and fastest section. It's only 15 questions, so it's the quickest one to attempt, and often for a lot of kids also the most scoring one. So it boosts your performance a lot of times and confidence a lot of times if you take this first and if you're well prepared. I'd personally say work more on grammar, work more on tenses, error detection, reported speech, collected nouns. These are the key areas that you can improve and perfect. Try and find out what works for you, figure out a strategy that works for you. Don't need to listen to what others are saying that this is the right way to do it. For example, for me personally, mugging up vocab words didn't help much. So figure out what works for you and enhance your language. So if you're going to watch news, watch it in English if possible. If you're going to watch a movie, watch an English movie maybe. Read articles. I think that's something that does help a lot in both grammar and vocabulary. In terms of time management, ideally about 20 to 30 seconds for each question should be enough. And if you don't know something, realize that in 3-4 seconds, move on to the next one. Maybe mark it for review. And speed matters a lot. So make sure that you set the tone well, you build a momentum, and you start positively. That's going to influence the rest of the paper.
Now moving on to the analytical and logical reasoning section. So if you would have gone through the previous year SNAP papers, you would have realized that the LR section of SNAP is a bit different from the other exams. The sets here are not that time consuming in that sense. It can be done quickly, but there is a lot of variety in the type of questions that come. Right, so our advice first would be to familiarize yourselves with all the different kind of questions that come. Be it blood relations, analogies, series, puzzles. Just make sure that you're practicing various different types of questions so that you're not surprised if you come across something new on your exam day. As we have been saying, speed is the key to SNAP because there are just 60 minutes and you have to cover 60 questions in those 60 minutes. Make sure that you're practicing so well that you start improving your speed. But you should not compromise on your accuracy either. So make sure that there's a healthy balance between your speed and accuracy when you're attempting those questions. Then there are certain question types like number series or direction sense which have a certain pattern. So if you practice a lot of those questions, you'll be able to figure out the shortcuts. So make sure that you keep practicing and you understand those shortcuts so that on the exam day you're able to skim through those questions really fast. Another very good habit that we would suggest that you inculcate right from now when you're doing the mocks is analyzing the mocks, right? So after you're done solving the puzzles, make sure that you sit for some time and see how you've attempted it, right? So what was your strategy? Were you able to do it? Or if you were not able to do it, what went wrong? Or if there was a better way to tackle that problem which could have made it, you could have solved it in a quicker, shorter time. So make sure that you keep analyzing whatever mocks that you're doing. Next is working on visualization, right? So questions like arrangement and direction sense, it helps if you have like a good habit of visualizing the problem. It helps you to tackle those questions faster. So work on that skill as well. And finally, yes, keep revising the concepts regularly, as we've been mentioning again and again. Practice is the key here, and you will eventually be at your best if you keep practicing.
For the quantitative and data interpretation and data sufficiencies, I would suggest work on your strength. Since strengths will increase your score, then take your scores to the highest level. And for working on your strength, I would suggest work on DI and go for speed calculations. Since calculations will take a time, so try to do the calculations in mind. Go for doing the calculations in mind as much as you can. And apart from that, geometry and squares, cubes, etc. are a few areas which I think you should refer to.
So adding few points for quantitative aptitude, you should master basics. So your arithmetic, your geometry, your algebra concepts should be very crisp and clear. The first thought after reading a question that comes to your mind should be the answer to that question. Then you should try to analyze different difficulty levels of the questions. So as you know, there are 20 questions in the quantitative aptitude. Then you should categorize these questions according to the level of their difficulties, such as L1, L2 and L3. L1 is the type of question where the answer is instantaneous. L2, it may require some kind of calculations, whereas L3 are the type of questions where on the first go you should avoid, as these may take and consume a lot of your time. So second one would be maintaining speed and accuracy. So while you're going through these 20 questions, you need to realize that the speed for each question will be different. So you should maintain this speed for all the questions similarly. So take 30 to 45 seconds for each question and move on to the next question. And you should move to the next question with accuracy. You should be confident that yes, whatever you have attempted is the right answer. And take timed and untimed mocks. So for timed mocks, as you know, it is very crucial to be time constraint, as it will help you deal with the exam pressure. Whereas untimed mocks will help you realize whatever the weakness you have. It will help you realize the concepts that you are missing on. Then you should capitalize on this weakness by learning more and more.
Okay, so as we're nearing the end of the presentation, we will now talk about the exam day tips, right? So there are a few things. Before I go into the exam day tips, I would just like to say that it's also the day before the exam, right? So there must be a lot of anxiety and anticipation that you must be feeling. But make sure that the day before the exam, you take some time to compose yourself, do something that relaxes you, maybe yoga or meditation, or if you like listening to music, or go for a run, something to clear your head and compose yourself before the next day. And obviously sleep on time. Do not stay up late doing mocks or solving questions, because that will not help. Coming on the exam day, obviously make sure that you wake up on time. I mean, most of us have a habit of pressing the snooze button, but obviously do not do that on that day. Verify, so it's very important, verify that all your exam essentials are ready, be it the admit cards, the photographs, pen, pencil, water bottle, snacks, wallet, everything. Make sure that all of those are ready and nothing is missing. Have a healthy breakfast. It's very important that you are well fed, so that you do not feel those hunger pangs while you are giving the exam. It's equally essential that you plan your travels way ahead, because generally what happens is the test center is a bit far from your home. So make sure that you are leaving way before time, account for all the possible delays that could happen, traffic delays or anything else. So make sure that you leave well early, and there's no harm in reaching the center an hour or so before, right? Carry a water bottle to the exam center, I would suggest, even if you feel like 1 hour is too less and you won't have time to take a sip of water during the exam. But still, you never know what might come up, and do carry a water bottle. Again, just before the exam starts, take a moment, just clear your mind. Do not have any pending thoughts that's going on in your mind. Don't keep it fuzzled. Stay calm, and before you give the exam, make sure that you are well relaxed. Now when the exam is beginning, like we've mentioned, start with your strongest section, whichever one you feel you're best at, because that will boost your confidence and it will set the momentum for the rest of the exam. If you are coming across if you're coming across a tough question which you're not able to figure out in the first few seconds, obviously keep it for review. Or if you feel like you won't be able to attempt it at all, just abandon it immediately. Do not spend a lot of time pondering over a certain question, because there are lots more that you can attempt. Stay aware of the time. Do not, like I said, do not keep hovering over one question, because you just have 60 minutes. So make sure that you have an eye on the time, and you are covering all the sections. You're able to cover all the sections. And lastly, and I feel this is very important, have some faith in yourself and trust your preparation strategy. I know all of you are very sincere students and you must be aiming for the best B schools. So do not stop comparing yourself and your journey with your peers, and keep focus on what you have been doing and have some faith in your preparation journey, because if you keep at it and if you're doing it sincerely and regularly, it is bound to show results. If anyone else would want to add anything, or else we can, I think, move on to the FAQ section.
Yeah, let's do that.
These are some of the we will be taking questions from the chat, but during the registration we had come across a few common questions that we'd like to answer. So the first one is, and I think many aspirants do have this anxiety, that they have just someone has said, I just started preparing for SNAP in September. Is it still possible to crack the exam? I would say you have a lot of time in your hands. You are not at all late. You have a lot of time. So I would just suggest that maintain a strict timetable. Do not keep revising or keep giving mocks. And there's a long way to go, and you have a lot of time, so there's no reason to worry about the timeline.
So another question that we have got is how to prepare for SNAP from home and have timetable. So I was at the same position last year. I also prepared SNAP from my home. So it is very crucial for you to develop a strict plan, a strict routine, which you can execute on a daily basis. And talking about timetable, you should try to plan your activities around the time of exam that it's going to be conducted upon. So let's say if the exam is from 11 to 12, so you should schedule a mock from 11 to 12 bi-weekly, or let's say daily. Then you should revise all the concepts that you need to revise upon. Maybe regarding logical reasoning, maybe regarding fonts, maybe practice some general English questions. Then you should try to analyze your mock, assign what are you missing on, assign what are your strengths, assign what are your weaknesses, and eventually work accordingly. And then you should try to meditate daily, incorporate some kind of physical exercises to release that body stress. These are some of the factors that will keep your mind healthy and keep the functioning of brain properly. Then third one would be the sleep schedule. So you should try to have a consistent sleep schedule. Don't wake up for too late at night. Try to have minimum 8 hours of sleep so that your brain functions properly for the next day.
The next question is, how should I maximize my score? So I think one of the things to keep in mind is to focus on the high scoring areas. So for example, verbal ability and logical reasoning for a lot of people is high scoring, and the questions can be solved quite easily. So practice them regularly, gain speed, try solving each of them under a minute, and improve calculation speed in maths. So have some mental math tricks up your sleeve, try figuring out some approximation strategies, and take mocks regularly. So when you're doing these mocks, have a strategy in mind. So each mock, maybe you can try and do general English first, or logical reasoning first, or quants DS first, and figure out what works best for you depending on your strengths. Allot time in the right way so that you're solving the questions that you know for sure first in your first run through, and in the second run through you're going through some questions that you thought you could have solved but would have taken a little more time, maybe because of calculation or reading. So do it that way and try and attempt as many questions as possible, because there is a small amount of negative marking, but the more questions you attempt, the better your score would be.
Another question here is regarding, it is hard to clear SNAP in first attempt. So that's the beauty of the SNAP exam. Like other national competitive exams, SNAP offers 3 attempts. So even if you are unable to perform your best on the first attempt or at the second attempt, you still get the third attempt. But try to capitalize on all these 3 attempts. Don't take any of the attempt for granted. So first attempt, you should consider it as your first and last attempt. Then moving on for the second attempt, you should recognize whatever your weaknesses were in the first attempt, what you were lacking upon. Try to be more rigorous around mocks. That would be for the second attempt. And third attempt would be very strict and disciplined attempt that you have to maximize your score regarding of all those 3 opportunities. You need to score your best on the third attempt. That should be the right attitude to approach the third attempt.
Another question is, how many hours of average preparation is necessary for attempting SNAP exam? Again, this is a very dynamic question, and it will change from aspirant to aspirant, because it will depend on where you are at your preparation journey, right? So if you feel like you have just started covering the topics, you would obviously need to allocate a little bit more time to your preparation. But if you feel like all the topics are covered and it's just the mocks that you're giving now, then obviously it'll be a lesser time, right? But one thing you should maintain is that you should maintain a very strict timetable. Don't be haphazard about when you are studying or when you're not studying. Make sure that you are studying regularly, you're preparing for the exam regularly, and if you keep at it, you will see results and you'll keep improving your strategies and your preparation.
I think another common question is about the difficulty level of the exam. So SNAP is considered moderate to difficult, but that's because of the speed aspect. So while other exams would probably try and judge you on other aspects, SNAP judges you on speed and strategy. So it's a very student-friendly exam in a way, because if you're able to practice and make the right strategy for yourself, then the questions are quite solvable. And so relatively speaking, it's quite straightforward. It's not a lot of thought process that goes into which questions, how do you answer them in comparison to the other exams. So if you're able to practice and maintain a certain level of accuracy, I think it's quite easy to score in SNAP, and it'll help you out as well.
So other question is, other than form, do we need to pay any fees regarding college registration? So yes, there's a fees for the college you need to apply, and that can be paid via the payments mode available by filling the form.
So there's one question regarding should we take all the 3 attempts? So you may opt for 1 or 2 attempts, but listen, everyone, this is a competitive exam, so most of them are trying to capitalize on the opportunity of 3 attempts. So if one of your friend is taking 3 attempts, why should you stick up to 1 or 2 attempts? You should also try to capitalize on the 3 attempts. And another question here is about, is there any specific book to follow? So there is no hard and fixed rule regarding this, but there are a lot of online resources available freely that you can look up to for each of the sections accordingly. There are also a lot of helpful videos on YouTube to cover different kinds of concepts for free. So there's a lot of resources available online.
I think about the number of attempts aspect. So each one of us here as well has also given 2 or 3 attempts, right? And I think the thought process behind that was that there will be different questions in each paper, and a lot of times it's possible that your personal strengths align with one of the paper in comparison to something else. So why do you want to give into that chance of, maybe I could have done better if I had given paper number 2 instead of 3. So just go give all 3. Maybe if you're not too confident the first one, it always makes you more confident giving more papers in the second and third. That feeling PlayStation is so
So the questions regarding institutes and GPI processes, I think so the first step for you is to perform your best in the upcoming exam. Then you should focus on, there's a lot of time available for GPI processes. So first you should definitely focus on the exam, perform your best, and then if things definitely will be best for you, then you will definitely perform well in GPI as well.
So there's another question about normalization. So since the 3 attempts and all the 3 attempts are considered to be equivalent, so there's no normalization. So that is why also it is recommended to attempt at least 2 or 3 papers so that you have a better score.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of questions on the mock test. So you find a lot of mock tests online and you can attempt them. There is also, to bring down, I don't think this is information that's out yet, but Symbiosis and Snap has put forward an official mock test that's going to be there on the first week of October. And so that is something that will really help you out. Prepare up until then, use that as a benchmark, practice for that, take that seriously. And you will, because it's being done by Symbiosis, obviously you will understand the exact pattern, how it's going to be on the D-Day. And so yeah, I think we'd all recommend that you take that. And other mocks can be available online for practice as well.
If there are no other questions, then I would just say thank you so much for joining us, aspirants, and please follow Symbiosis on the social handles so that you stay updated about the Snap mock test that we just spoke about. And all the very best for all the preparation journey that you're going through, and I'm sure all of you are going to do very well. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.